Can you hear me now? Give me a heck yes if you can hear me. Can you hear me now? Let's hope it's working. Thank you, Elijah. Of course, this is the day that I have some audio problems. Let me just check one more thing to make sure. I'm going to bring on our caller. Let me know if you can hear him too. So we got
What's up, Eric?
From Arkansas. What up? Can you hear me?
Man, nothing much. Just I can't hear you. I heard you were experiencing some technical difficulties.
Classic. So I'm going to just make sure people can hear you on your end. I hope they can. So Elijah, it looks like you're my audio engineer for the day. Can you hear the caller? Jared, go ahead and say howdy or something.
What's up, Elijah? I like your song.
Nice. So he can hear you. He can hear me. Audio problem solved. I just moved all this stuff around, so, I must have unplugged something. So, Jared, I hear you got a story for us.
Man, I do. And for y'all that don't know me, I'm a hunter here in Arkansas, and we just had our urban hunt start. So, what are urban hunts? Glad you asked. We have some overpopulated areas. One that I'm hunting is the Hot Springs Village, and if you didn't know what that is, it's the largest gated community in the nation. Exciting, right?
How big is that then? So if it's the largest in the nation, what does that look like? That's got to be ridiculous.
I think it's like 50,000 acres.
Jeez.
I think. Don't get me wrong.
It's like
you can
military
Google
base.
it. I Googled it as well, and I do believe it's the largest gated community. Here in Arkansas, it's right beside Hot Springs, America's first national park, Hot Springs. But so the urban hunts are sponsored by our local Arkansas Bow Hunters organization, and put on by to control populations within towns. So there's one Hot Springs Village, one in Russellville, which is kind of central Arkansas-ish, and then some in Fairfield Bay. Well, anyway, if you want a chance at a velvet deer in the state of Arkansas, you have to sign up for these urban hunts. You go in, you have to shoot to qualify. So you have to shoot 3 arrows in the kill zone. Mostly you just have to shoot for a double lung or a heart shot. And you get 2 opportunities to do so. Once you're through all that, then you can hunt. It has to be from an elevated position, and the hunt starts September 1st. So our regular season starts September 28th, but for the urban hunts, you get to start on the 1st.
So you went out this last weekend?
I did, and if you're not, and I know you and I have talked about it, but the weather here is, you can, the air here is as hot as a sauna. I mean, it is, it's not really the heat, but the humidity. It just kills you. I mean, it was, I think 90 degrees. It was 92 degrees when I was in the tree Sunday evening. Yeah, it was 92 and just sweltering. I sweated through stuff I didn't even realize I had on. But but the whole thing about the hunt that I really enjoy is it's the opportunity to get a velvet deer, and B, it's for a good cause. So we're population management within this community. A lot of car collisions within the community, and it's it's one of those things that we can help. And I get in there and I start scouting, looking at everything. You can bait, you can put out a camera, you can do all this, but you have to be on the POA land. So Hot Springs Village POA, their property authority, and you have to be 50 yards from a road, 50 yards from a house. Well, it's kind of 50-50 on the people that voted for, yeah, we want the urban hunters in here, and then the people that are like, hey, don't kill my pet deer. So that's always a fun thing when you're out there and they're like, hey, don't kill Sheba. We've had her in the neighborhood for the last 10 years, but it was a neat deal, and I actually was successful. Of course, like you said, we're nowhere near the rut, but this time of year, it's all about bedding and feeding. And looking at my map, I found a kind of overgrown field, a 3-year-old cut over that had a creek running on the outskirts of it, and then that went up to a high point of a mountain, and you get to park on the top of the mountain. And then I walked down and kind of got close, kind of get in towards that field, and I knew, this is the north face of this mountainside. So when the sun came up, I knew it would eventually, those deer would just, because driving in at about 3 o'clock in the morning, every deer was on their feet. You could see them all in the ditches. I mean, they're just, eating on all the grasses and such, anything green right now. And so, getting there, I was like, well, as soon as the sun comes up, they're going to be bedded out into that field. And when it warms up to a point, they'll come up the side of this mountain to stay cool. And I was on the backside of me, like a tornado came through there, and there's just a lot of down trees. And when I went in there scouting, I mean, it's just bed after bed after bed, hair in the beds. I mean, just well used beds. Exactly. Great sign. And I didn't have time. I'm hunting. I'm kind of in between the public land and my private land leases and some of the stuff that I have through our tracks. But, so I've got plenty of places to hunt here. I mean, we've got 3 million acres of public land here in Arkansas, and you can kind of chase the rut throughout the state. Where my deer lease is, the rut starts, around the last weekend of October, and the first 2 weeks of November is really your peak rut times when most of your does are going to get bred. But then on the White River Refuge, which is on the east side, which is, this is where our big deer are, it's where all the crops in Arkansas are. And the rut there doesn't really kick off till right after Thanksgiving into the first, few weeks of December. So, if you hunt public land and private, you get the chance to kind of follow the rut across the state. And so excited to, do that, but, also, I didn't have time to go down, set up a place to hunt. I had 1 weekend to go scout this Hot Springs Village hunt, and then, kind of 1 weekend to hunt. My wife keeps me on a pretty tight leash on how much I get to hunt. So she was like, you get the first weekend. No, she's not. She's actually, she's in there, she's cooking. She was like, hey, you better be done in 30 minutes. I know how you like to talk. I was like, yes, ma'am. I'll be done. But anyway, so limited time to scout, limited time to look over everything. But I get in there, and the best thing is when a plan comes together, man. When something that when you're like, hey, I've made this. This is what I think the deer do, and I think more so than the size of the deer that you take or anything, that's hunting, man. That's that feel that you can kind of call your shot. I think is what the best way to call it. And sure enough, when that sun came over that mountain, it hit that creek bottom and hit that creek line, and those deer, I watched them sit up from their beds, and they come right in, and I ended up taking a beautiful 5.5-inch spread spike.
5.5-inch spread spike in full velvet. That's awesome.
Full velvet. And hey, I'm just as excited as if it was, I've got some big deer on the wall, and he's my first velvet deer. And I know I said a little prayer before I went out that morning. I said, God, I just want a velvet deer. I'm not going to be picky. And he called that shot. He's like, here you go. Here's this beautiful velvet spike here. And I took advantage. And I tell you, he made me work for it too, because I made a quartering towards me shot, and I say it every year. not going to do a quartering towards me shot, and the deer was as quartering towards me as he was broadside. So, I mean, kind of like that in-betweener, but still, I was there to sneak the arrow through one lung, top of his heart, but it did exit through his paunch. And I know better, but you get blood out of one side, you catch the lung, you get some blood out of the nose, but the first 30 yards of that trail are just, they're rough. You just got to really watch the deer, and I did. And I saw where he went in the woods, or went to the thicker stuff, and of course found good blood. And you know what deer do? They run to the worst place possible to drag them out. They're not very kind to you, once you've done that. So he ran the rest of the way down the mountain, and then expired on behind a big boulder, which was kind of a good hide and seek game, because he ran out to that field, and like I lost blood right at this field, so I had to grid search the field, and I was like, I get 30 minutes into it, I'm like, I wonder what's behind that big boulder over there, and sure enough, there he was. But I had to Cam Haynes it, man. I had to, I looked at that mountain and I said, you know what? We're gonna have to ruck it, man. And I had a kind of a meat bag there, and I just cut and quartered it, and put it all packed in my pack. So I went back up with all my saddle gear, deer over the shoulder, my beautiful spike buck mount, on my backpack. I mean, I was like one of the most Western boys.
On the W2H Rut Club group this morning. Bag in the back of a truck, couple hoops sticking out, blood everywhere. It's great.
There you go. And hey, for a little deer, he weighed a lot. But I skull mounted. I did the skull mount yesterday. Because I had a little extra time, and preserved the velvet. So I'll never forget my cousin. I sent him the picture, and he was like, "Well, buddy, it'll be a great conversation piece."
That's awesome, man. Dude, that's a great story, Jared.
That's the report from Arkansas, man. Urban hunts kicking off. A lot of the trees have a lot of, and I say it, acorns. I think
there you go.
Y'all may call them acorns.
We just had acorn outdoors on last week. Go figure.
There you go. So the acorn trees are pretty full up. We've had a lot of rain down here. Which, a lot of flooding on, like I said, I hunt the White River Refuge a lot, and there was a study out on Choctaw Island, which is kind of not very far from there, but about how many deer pass, during flood stage. Some bucks are just they're so keyed into that home range that they won't leave it, and they eventually succumb to the flooding, and we hope that didn't happen to some of the big bruisers that we've had on camera there, and that they're back this year. But man, it's watching that sun come up and being in that stand, it's just an experience that, I mean, we can talk about it all day and we as hunters understand it, but, I wish I could just, for a little bit show people that don't do it what it feels like to be part of that during this time of year. And even though it was 92 degrees, I feel good to be back in the saddle, both figuratively and literally. Nice. Now that I've drank the saddle Kool-Aid.
Saddle hunting. Well, dude, I'm gonna bring on the next caller. So, thanks for kicking it off on the Rut Radio. You're the first caller of the first ever episode. So you now qualify for when you watch us back on Facebook. I think I had some audio issues in the beginning. So what I was trying to say is, anybody that calls in qualifies for a heated hunt scent dispenser, which I'm holding in front of the camera right now, and that'll prevent your deer piss from freezing. Although in Arkansas you might not have that problem, but it'll also make sure that piss stays the temperature of the wild game that it normally comes out of, right, and it can travel further. You, my friend, also qualify to win a W2H sticker and a window decal. So I just figured I'd make that announcement now before I bring the next caller on, so everybody knows that if you call in, these are some of the things you're going to win, and every week we're going to do something else. So Heated Hunts is doing a good job of supporting this segment of the show. But thanks for calling in, Jared. Dude, so right now it's going to be between you and this next guy. Unless we get some more callers in, it sounds like you got a 50-50 chance of winning some cool swag.
I love it.
All right, buddy. You have a good day.
You too, brother. Bye.
Howdy, you're live on the Where to Hunt podcast. How's it going? Can you hear me okay? You're live on the show.
Woo! Yeah,
How's it going, man?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing back there?
Doing great. Where are you calling from? It says California. Did the system get it right?
Yep, I'm from California. This is Chad Apiller, Chad Wilson, Tattooed in the Wild, California.
Rock on, man. I don't know that I've ever had a caller from California before. You're the first. And you're on the Rut Club Radio. This is
All
freaking
right.
awesome. What do you got?
Awesome,
Got
man.
a story or?
What do you got? Oh, man, I just got back from Africa. Did an African hunt, safari hunt in Africa, and it was amazing.
Holy shit. That's awesome. Are you part of Safari
Yeah,
Club
went out
International?
to,
Or how did you get out there?
I just went, my buddy went through the SCI, called me up, said, you want to go to Africa? And I was like, I'm in. So went out to Africa for 12 days, hunted out by Botswana, and slayed some animals, that's for sure.
That's awesome. So what do you hunt in California? Are you hunting elk out there or what?
Oh, man. I live in an area where there's not much elk hunting. You have to go up north to get the elk. But right where I'm at, a lot of bears and just typical black-tailed deer. There's a couple crossbreeds, but just deer and bears pretty much right here in the area I'm at.
And when does your season kick off? What are you going to be chasing?
So bear season actually starts August 17th, and it pretty much goes all the way to December 28th, I believe.
Okay.
And then deer season starts pretty much the same thing. I get archery tags, so the archery tags go all the way from July to all the way to December, so I'm always out in the field.
That's awesome. You know, the sponsor for this segment, Heated Hunts, they actually make quite a few different bear attractants also. So if that's something you're chasing,
Oh, yeah?
you know, we'll have to make sure we get you calling in regularly because that'll be one of the things we can do a giveaway for. So every time you call into this segment of the show, you qualify to win some of their products. So I don't know if you heard, but today we're going to be giving away the scent heat dispenser. That's a tongue twister. So that's super cool, man.
We sure do need some heat dispensers out here in California right now.
What's the temperature out there, man?
Oh my God, it's brutal. It's like 97 all day. 100.
You sound like the last caller, Jared. He said he was just hunting in 90 degrees, chiggers everywhere, mosquitoes. Just, you know, he had to pack his deer out and cut it up, which isn't like I wouldn't do that here, you know, in Wisconsin. But that's crazy.
I was just in Utah for like 7 days on an elk. I went elk hunting in Utah after I got back from Africa, and holy moly, the weather was amazing, man. Amazing. 70 degrees. It rained. It was a little sunny. Awesome. I didn't cash in on an elk, but
no,
it
that
was
sounds
an
great.
amazing time out there.
How did you hear about the Where to Hunt podcast? What got you calling in today? Did someone tag you?
So my buddy Ryan, R. Diesel, he called me up and said, hey, the Brock's going to be on. You got to call in, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, you know what? I have some time to call in right now. So, yeah. I know Keith and Dallas and Garrett real well.
Oh, hell
Modern
yeah.
Assassins.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
You know, for
I said, I'm
such
gonna
a
give these guys
wicked
a
name,
call
the
and say
Modern
what-
Assassin, he sure is a nice guy. You know, I really mean that.
Oh,
He's just-
man, Garrett is
Yep.
the best. I love that guy. Yeah. Hey,
He's a good
all
dude.
the time when I was hearing stories about Garrett, I was like, man, this guy's probably like 7 foot tall, 350 pounds. I first met him, I'm like, oh, shit, is that you, Garrett?
You're just a regular dude. And then he
Garrett-
shaved his beard. I was like, wow, you're really
Yeah.
regular now. That's funny.
Absolutely. That guy is hands down, stands up for reals, 100% legit dude. That's for sure.
That's great. Well, dude, thanks for calling into the show. You know, as the season continues on, I hope people come back to this because I hope to get a steady stream of people calling in to share their rut activity as the season kind of heats up. And with Heated Hunts kind of sponsoring the segment, I hope that it fits really well, right, as we're heating up to the rut. It seemed to make a ton of sense to get these guys to back it. So, you know, I'm really excited to kind of get everyone calling in from around the country. Like I said, you're my first caller from California that I'm aware of anyways. I appreciate you taking time, man.
Right on, man. Well, thanks very much for everything, man. Thanks for hearing me out. Tattooed in the Wild, baby.
There you go. Have a great day, man.
All right, bye.
So 2 callers in on the show. we got room for more. It looks like there's a couple folks watching. If you want to get in, we got 8 more minutes before I'm going to pull the plug on it because I got to switch gears for the regular show. But right now, there's a 50-50 chance Chad or Jared is going to win the scent dispenser. So that's a reason to call in and just simply share your story. Who do we got here? So, oh, looks like they dropped off. I got to get a screener. If you want to be a screener for the Where to Hunt podcast, either this segment or the show, send me a direct message. I could use a call screener. I can set you up with our system, but legit seekers only, please. It could be a great job to pass the time. Anyway, a little bit about heated hunts. Since I got you guys for just a moment here, there's one scent of theirs I wanted to call out that I think is going to be good for early season. Let me find it here. I was talking to their owner the other day, Jonathan, and this is a scent called Bucktella, and it's recommended for early season and late season. It's also known as a curiosity or comfort scent, so nothing too crazy. They have some other more aggressive scents, also, but this is one that could work great. What you could do is you could simply pour that into, I'm going to get around my mic here. You can pour it into this dispensing unit, or you can spray the wick, and then it does come with other wicks too. And then you pop your batteries in at the bottom, turn it on, and it heats it up. And it's funny how many guys I've talked to that swear by this product. I'm very excited to try it out this year. But additionally, it's also funny to hear how many guys say they've tried to heat up piss in the woods with hand warmers and other contraptions and things like that. So that's kind of where this product was born from. And we did have heated hunts on the Where to Hunt podcast a few episodes back. So if you want to learn more, I can go grab that link and link it here in the comments section, so you can kind of get the down low from them, the horse's mouth, and hear what they're all about, why they do what they do, how they started, how their stuff works, what the success is like, that kind of stuff. And we got about 5 more minutes before I pull the plug and switch gears for the 7 o'clock start of the Where to Hunt podcast. But if anybody else wants to call in to enter to win something, you got pretty good odds right now because this is the first episode. And I'm going to run this show every single Tuesday from 6 to 6:30 p.m. So, or this segment, I should say. It's part of the Where to Hunt podcast. It'll get baked in. But I'm excited to hear from everybody. I'm really looking forward to getting some more calls and just talking to folks around the country. It's a really neat concept that I'm very excited about. Let's see if I can actually try something out here real quick. I want this one. Bear with me, guys. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm struggling with technology. I'm going to show this here. So this is Heated Hunts. I think my internet's a little slow. So if you go to their website, you can see some of their products. Every single week, we're going to do kind of an alternation. One week, a bigger ticket item. Another week, maybe something, less expensive and shiny, but this is kind of what I was just showing here. You hooked to hang the dispenser. It's threaded. You got 2 wicks inside of here, and then you can pour the liquid directly in, or you can spray that wick, and then it electronically heats it up. With some AA batteries. So kind of gives you the quick rundown here on how that works. Warms the scents, dispenses it, and then it carries further, right? So who do we got on the line? We got Bill from Sauk City, Wisconsin. Bill, you're live on the Where to Hunt Rut Club Radio podcast. How's it going, man?
Good.
Thanks for
Are you
calling
talking
in.
to me?
Yep, you're on you're live. You've made it on.
Okay, yeah, I switched over from that to give you a call to help you out on your show. I love your show.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that a whole bunch. You're gonna make it onto the show, and now you just qualified to win a Heated Hunt product. So that's pretty damn exciting.
Yeah, it is, man. I'm pumped. Thanks. So, I'm in Wisconsin, and I just got done talking to some of my hunting buddies, and they said that deer are already rutting up here.
Seriously?
Chasing
what
each
part of
other around
Wisconsin?
like crazy. I'm just kidding. Every year I got buddies that'll see some deer chasing, and they'll say they're rutting already.
So let's just make a running joke of it. It's like when you're ice fishing, you yell tip down, right?
Right? Yeah, exactly. It is.
That's funny.
So anyways, I hunt like the south central part of Wisconsin mainly. And just to keep it in short and to the point, I usually take off every year from my birthday is November 6th, so I'll take off the whole week from work and just hope like the peak rut, the chasing, the most exciting part happens during that week. Sometimes it'll be like the 3rd through the 11th. It just depends on how the weekdays fall. But that's my favorite time to hunt is that first, second week in November. And one story I got, which one should I do? I got some good ones.
That's good.
When they're all rutting up and all hell breaks loose, and you get one of them lucky days where they're just popping out of the woodwork everywhere. So we'll do last year's. Last year, so I'm up in my stand. I've been sitting up there all day on an all-day sit, probably around November 10th, if I had to guess. I'm hunting like a CRP field. I have 2 tree lines on my property that overlook just a big prairie grass field where the grass is 4 or 5 feet tall, and then you got some 8 to 10 foot tall bushes mixed in, like where you could see a deer, and then it'll disappear, and 5 minutes later it's 80 yards from where you last seen it, just because it's in that grass and stuff. So I see this huge 10-pointer. It's super tall, wide, never seen it before. And every time I try to get the glasses on it or get a good look at it, it would disappear. And then there was another buck with it, which I called a big, heavy 9-pointer. And I was getting the 2 mixed up because I'd never seen both together. And I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Like, it looked like one buck 1 minute and a totally different one the next. Well, this is all probably, I think at this point, they're about 200 yards from me. And what is happening was the big 10-pointer had a hot doe bedded down.
Okay.
And it was just standing over it. And that 9-pointer was trying to get on that doe as the 10-pointer was tending. And every time the 9-pointer would get closer, the 10-pointer would chase it away. And I watched these 2 bucks do that probably for about 2 hours.
Holy crap.
And next thing you know, that clock in the back of your head and you start seeing the sun going down.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I got to get closer to these. So on my tree lines, I had another stand about 80 yards up the tree line from me, which would put me about 100 yards from it. And initially I was hoping that buck and that doe would just kind of chase each other around, or the 2 bucks would, and eventually they'd come down by me. But they started getting further and further away, so I decided to climb down my tree and try to get in another stand closer to them. And I actually got down, got into another tree stand up the tree line about 100 yards from me. And when I got up there, I couldn't see them because of the tall grass, and I was trying to find exactly where they were at again and stuff. And before too long, that one buck chased the other one kind of up the hill again. And at this point, they're probably 80 yards from me.
Nice, okay.
And I'm like, do I rattle my horns? Do I make a grunt? Or I didn't know what to do, really. So I was watching them, and they were getting a little bit closer, and next thing you know, these other 3 bucks, like 2 little spikes and a 4-pointer, came trotting up there, kicked while the 10-pointer and the 9-pointer were chasing each other around. Those 3 little bucks came up there, kicked the doe up, and she ran up over the hill from me, and then all the bucks went following right after her. So that's kind of my rut story from last year.
That's a lot of excitement. I had something real similar happen last year, except there wasn't a doe that I was aware of, but I'm watching 2 big guys. Well, one real big guy chase 2 other bigger guys away from a certain area. So maybe there was a doe bedded, but that's the stuff that gets the heart pumping where you go, okay, this is it. You know, I'm here. The rut is here. It's arrived. That's why I'm excited to do this segment.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you sharing that story.
Yeah, it's hard to even say it. I get excited just talking about it, thinking it back.
It's a big
And
deal.
to add to that, so our gun season, I don't want to take too long. Our gun season opens the next weekend. So I went back up there. I've never seen this buck before on my trail cameras at all. And gun season, as it got light out, here he was again, that big 10-pointer. It was 450 yards from me, and he was about 30 yards across the property line from me. And so I sat there, and I could watch them all morning. He was tending probably a different doe, or I don't know if that, I doubt it was the same one. There was another 8-pointer with it and a couple little bucks. Well, they all left, and that 10-pointer and that doe just sat right down in that grass. So I did the same thing again. I got out of my stand, and I cut the distance in half, and they were bedded, and I'm like, I couldn't see them. I'm like, are they still there? Did they leave on my walk over here? And about a half hour later, it stepped up, got up with the doe. The doe walked over, jumped the fence line into a different neighbor's property, and the buck went out there, and they walked about 200 yards from me, and I got a rifle at this point. On the neighbor's property in the cornfield, the cut cornfield, opening morning, 200 yards broadside, and just sat there and ate. 30 yards on the opposite side of the fence.
Ah.
After they did that for about an hour, they jumped back onto my side. But in the tree line I'm in, just at that angle, I couldn't see them. And then they walked directly away from me. So that's why I like that rut. Like, I think that doe, what was happening is she was sharing my property and the neighbors kind of as her little area.
Yep.
And that buck must have been just using the neighbor's property, or as close as it would come to me, because I got cameras up. I should have seen it throughout the season more than that. And he just got wind of that hot doe, and that's what brought him over.
Dude, that's awesome, though. I mean, to see that kind of stuff it's great to just get out, but then when you have that kind of activity, it really does just get the blood flowing in a unique way that makes you realize, oh, yeah, this is why I'm out here. And this is what's going to keep me coming back.
That's my favorite time of the year.
It's the best. And that's about the same time I will make a point to get out as much as I possibly can. So, dude, thank you so much for the call. I got you entered into the drawing.
Yeah,
so
no problem.
I'll do that later. And, it's going to be you or two other people. So, like I said, it's pretty good odds right now. I appreciate you calling in, man.
Yeah, no problem. Good show, man. Appreciate it. I'll be watching every Tuesday.
Sounds good, bud.
Everyone I'm allowed to.
Yeah, have a great day.
You too.
Bye. We got here one more, and then I got to go. So, from Ohio.
We all love you.
From Ohio, you're live on the show.
Yeah, baby. What's up, Eric? You ain't got to go nowhere, man. We love you, man.
I got to go to get ready for D-Rock at 7 o'clock for the regular recorded show, but the Rut Club Radio is taking off, man.
Oh, D-Rock. I was just talking to him.
Yeah, we're going to have fun tonight.
What's good, brother?
Stay tuned for that. Well, I don't know. Do you got a story to share from the Rut from last year? You chasing any velvet deer? What do you got going on over there?
Man, I wish I could chase some velvet deer. I'm stuck in Ohio. I'm sitting here waiting on the 28th, waiting for this Saturday to come up so I can get out in the saddle. I got the saddle this year, so.
There you go.
Man.
Jared just said he was in a saddle this year. He said he's drinking the saddle Kool-Aid. I haven't gotten there yet.
Got some of the Kool-Aid this year, brother. I got some of the Kool-Aid. G is the guy responsible for that.
Yeah, I want to try it, but it just hugs the little kids a little too tight down there sometimes. I wonder about that.
It was great. Yesterday I was up in a tree practicing climbing. I had the whole kit with me, the Wild Edge stepladder system, and man, I got up like I was 30 plus feet in this tree making my little corny Instagram videos, and I had a doe and a baby walk in, and it was crazy, man. Like, that's when I knew I made the right decision. Like, man, this saddle is sweet, like granted it was a deer that she's, a local, and she gets fed a lot. So, but just to have a deer walk in while I was in that system and that saddle, I'm like, oh, this is how it's going to be, So I was excited to have that happen.
That's so cool, man. And when did Ohio open up then? Is it open right now?
No, man, we're waiting for the 28th.
28th. Okay, you did say that. So you got, about a month ago. So ours in Wisconsin, we open up on the 14th, so we got a little over a week to go. And then it's open season for the mosquitoes. You're going to go in the woods and you're going to donate a pint to, pay your dues to be out there.
Devil bug.
Fucking devil bugs, dude. You got damn right. It's good to hear you listen to the show. I fucking hate mosquitoes. But holy crap. I got to pivot and switch gears, bud. I appreciate you calling into the show, Ryan. I hope you have a good day. And we're going to do this every week, man. So as the activity picks up, especially come for you, 28th and beyond, I hope to hear from you every freaking week.
You know it, brother.
All right, keep us posted, man. You have a great day.
Same. See ya.
All right, everybody. I got to switch gears and get into the show. If you want to come back on and witness me drink a bunch of scotch and shoot the breeze with D-Rock from the East Coast Bowhunting Podcast, that'll be up in 20 minutes. So play some Jeopardy music, go get your popcorn, take your bathroom break, and we'll see you back here in about 20 minutes. Everybody, hope you have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. And to our 4 callers, Bill, Jared, Chad, and Ryan, one of you guys is going to win a Heated Hunts heated dispenser, so I'm excited to give that away. All right, everybody, have a great day.